Wait a minute, friends. I just saw this like thumbnail when it comes to like Mudahar, and I just like shocked about like there's already news of Windows 12. We already still at Windows 11, and Windows 11 is already breaking, and now we're transforming towards Windows 12. I'm pretty sure if Windows 11 is very worse, then it's probably very alright. I guess make a new operating system. So yeah, friends, I'm very excited of like what this Windows 12 debacle and stuff from Mudahar. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to watching this, and hopefully, friends, you can leave a subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm looking forward to reaching 500 subscribers in this year, or maybe 1,000 subscribers this year if that is possible. And thank you for all your support, friends, and let's get right into the video.
Oh no, very mad. They shut
Yeah, I just realized too, like they banning the word Microslop.
down their Discord. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing brings joy to my heart than seeing the actual big corpo mad, because we're not dealing with their nonsense anymore. So again, this is just a goofy thing to start off with, but actually today's video is a little bit about defending Microslop. I know, coming from my channel, that's probably gonna blow your mind. It's like, wait a minute, the fat Indian guy has to defend them? Well, it turned
Yeah, and what it all has to do with Windows 12.
out that, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I got a whole bunch of like messages aimed towards me like the last few days where everybody's like, Muda, did you hear about Windows 12? And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, Windows 12? What are you fucking talking about? They actually, wait, whoa. We have degraded Windows 11 so bad, you're telling me they're coming out with another Windows 12?
Yeah, pretty sure it's so worse that they already made another one. But yeah, pretty sure they're already developing those 12, because they said Windows 11 is not the final operating system. I'm pretty sure they're still developing as time goes on.
So I decided to put on the research goggles and I looked down the rabbit hole, so you don't have to, ladies and gentlemen. Is Microslop bringing the next evolution of slop towards you, or is this just bullshit and lies? Now, obviously, look, I think this video is going to be debunking some of the lies that we see from the big media talking about, shit. I think it's really easy to shit on Windows, okay?
Yeah.
But I also don't think that...
I mean, I'm getting a lot of, viewers when it comes to like shitting on Microslop and when their wind blows.
What we're about to read is entirely wrong anyways. So anyways, for anybody that doesn't know, there is a site called PC World, and they talked about Windows 12. Now, obviously, as of now, they said the article they made is a translation of some German article by PC Welt, and it does not meet their standards and shouldn't have been published. Basically, these guys...
Basically fake news.
Translators in their network, and for some reason they just didn't even like do basic fact checking into seeing if Microsoft was announcing Windows 12, who was the fucking source for this. Remember, things get leaked in the technology game all the time. Sometimes the leaker is somebody totally reputable, and sometimes it's the crackhead, okay? Generally speaking, you don't want to take what the crackhead is saying and seriously whatsoever. There's a lot of crackheads I know that are telling me aliens are going to invade the next day. Would I like to make a video on it? Absolutely. Would I like to get probed by aliens? Absolutely.
It's like wonder why this is. Like, I will always wonder like why Murahar wanted to get probed by aliens.
You have to be able to understand what's...
He's really like obsessed about aliens, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this man is like watching like, some aliens and stuff on the internet.
Source you can and cannot take. So to give you an idea, here's what was actually kind of talked about, okay? One of them was apparently Windows 12 is going to be introducing, or actually they called it Hudson Valley Next, and apparently it was going to be built on something known as Core PC, which for anybody that doesn't know what Core PC is, it's kind of been announced like years ago. It's kind of like the core operating system that powers Microsoft stuff, right? And again,
oh, I'm pretty sure there's AI implemented on that.
It's usually something that is being built upon. So Core PC basically is at the center of everything
Microsoft. There it is. I'm pretty sure that is
system that powers Microsoft stuff, right? And again, it's usually something that is being built upon. So
yeah, there it is, friends. Like that red one, but it's still in development, of course. Like
Core PC basically is at the center of everything Microsoft related, whether it be Windows, whether it be Xbox OS, whether it be anything in the AI game, whether it be anything with their Linux distributions. Yes, Microsoft does have their own Linux distributions. There's like a...
It is very fascinating that Windows also have like a Linux system, also known, I think it's called Azure Linux. I would actually love to try that out. Even though like I'm always like distancing myself away from Windows, but yeah, they do have like an operating system that is made by Linux.
So they said that AI was apparently a foundation for the operating system, and they said that Copilot is evolving from an optional assistant to a central control instance. Operating system wide will replace selective AI functions. Now, again, obviously, this was scary as well. Anybody that has used Copilot will probably tell you it is basically white label ChatGPT. And in my opinion, I think ChatGPT is like the fucking worst AI that you can probably
Yeah.
get your hands on, okay?
I don't know who is worse. I wonder if Copilot or ChatGPT is worse, but yeah, ChatGPT is so bad. Like I've been using Gemini, and even Gemini lately has been very, very awful. Lately, its UI doesn't even appear in the beginning because I'm pretty sure Google always have those like weird UI that actually changes a lot. Like even on YouTube, like it changes like the screen, it changes even my like recommendation, even change like the video. You can see like the video recommendation. Sometimes they actually push up like video of shorts sometimes. So it's actually very weird like how dynamic the UI of
It's actually a lot better for you to use shit like probably Grok, because at least it's connected to like recent sources. Something like Claude, anything but ChatGPT.
I did use Claude and it's actually very good.
Okay, I would trust the crackhead sooner than I trust ChatGPT. The other thing was the NPU requirement and minimum requirement of 40 tops. Now, what is a top, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you ever go to the store and you look at those Copilot Plus PCs? It's like the special brand of like, Windows
I wonder if you can upload like Linux on those
computer. The
or install.
CPU has a little AI like component added to it, so it can do local AI stuff instead of relying on the cloud as well too. Now, I'm usually a fan of this shit. I think if AI is going to exist, and it will in the world, instead of relying on us to go to like these frontier AIs and like give up our information, this shit should be happening locally on our device as much as it can, okay?
But I won't be like surprised if, Microslop in this case, would just try to make those, files or like try to, I guess, upload those, like, I guess compress those, your own data and upload them from their company in those cases, which ultimately like very slow down your, upgrading, no, updating your system
I
in this
like
case.
using local AIs because anything that I see the big frontier guys do, I generally can do with about 80% of the efficiency with a local artificial intelligence, which honestly is great enough for me. And it means that I don't give up my data to like some random Joe Schmo on the other side of like the country, and they're able to like scan my information and do God knows what with it, right?
Also, it's very fascinating because if you do have a local AI, this will more likely very fast within your own spec, of course, and like your own data is your own too. So it's very, what can I call this? It's very specific to your own needs. So it's very good. While the generalized, AI and stuff, they're more likely like very randomized, and sometimes they don't even like, say the way they're saying. Sometimes they even like get information that is not true.
So the other thing was they were going to radically design it efficient, performant, and memory management, which again makes me fucking laugh because if anything, Microsoft might be more bloated than a boomer from Left 4 Dead, okay? Like this shit is
I kind of miss playing Left 4 Dead actually.
insane. It's that bad. Anyways, you can see why I didn't immediately jump on this because again, I like to shit on Microsoft, but I like to shit on Microsoft while being 100% factual, okay? So I looked into what their sources for this shit was, and what was hilarious about it too was that it ended up being like a circular source. And what that means is basically they were sourcing to a source that kind of sourced to the original source. And again, if it sounds confusing, basically
sounds like an Ouroboros.
the original point of the story that I could find was something from like tech4gamers.com. And I looked through this for like all of 5 seconds and I realized, wait a minute, they're linking to PC World and they're just relinking the same information. There's like no actual source mentioned in this entire post. It's just insane. And again, obviously the guys at PC Gamers are like, yeah, we messed up with that Windows 12 articles. Yeah, we're sorry, which again, it's fine, right? Like, I'm glad that they apologized for it, but then I looked even further. So the actual like original point of the thread apparently came from like this Windows forum thing, where if you're looking at this thread, there's something that I like to call chat GPT eyes, where eventually you can see how things are formatted, like the M dashes, the constant fucking bullet pointing. This
The highlight too, like the headers are also like very consistent. Like I'm pretty sure those are like AI made, especially like the bullet point too. Like they're not arranged in a way that is spaced out.
was written by Copilot, probably. Copilot wrote this, I have to say. But here you can see that obviously they talk about Copilot being baked into the system, mandatory AI, and of course, ultimately, the end of the day, things like subscription services. So instead of purchasing Microsoft Windows' license, you therefore buy a subscription service. Now, the reality of it is, I actually don't think this is so far off from the future of Microsoft, simply because if you just look at where Windows 11 is right now, it's already showing signs of whatever this AI slop, article brought out. The other thing is, literally last year, Microsoft talked about evolving into an agentic operating system. And what that basically means is that the future of Windows is not something where you use a keyboard and a mouse. The future, according to Microsoft, is
Just realized like Murahar use a wireless wireless mouse. I don't use a wireless mouse. It's kind of like not good in my opinion. Or well, I haven't like bought any like wireless mouse, but I always prefer like having a wire.
to your computer, right? You type a command, you type something in a natural language, and the computer will interpret that as a function, right? So instead of saying, hey, Microsoft, or instead of like going onto my computer, opening up the internet browser, and then, searching for something, I just ask, Copilot, hey, Copilot, tell me something about what I'm looking for. And then it'll do all the searches for you. And then from there, you can say, oh, interesting. Can you put that into a blog post and then auto post that on the internet for me? Now, the goal is the AI is going to write a blog post, format it to HTTP standards, and then upload that file somewhere for somebody else to grab. All of this is done by an artificial intelligence that lets any human being do complicated tasks with just one command. Now, do I fucking believe that's the future? Microsoft definitely believes it's the future, but I think it's going to lead to a world where more of this misinformation happens. The only reason this Windows
Yeah, even today is like every news are like oversaturated with like AI based stuff. Like I even like try to limit myself when it comes to like one like especially on Twitter too. Like there's like a lot of news about like fake AI stuff. Like there's even like memes that is like AI images when I look closer at it. Like I try to like not follow them anymore. It's like very weird like how prominent they are and very like the sloppiness are real. Like they're very oversaturating and pretty much overwhelming.
happen is because the internet now is basically just a level of slop that we could never honestly imagine before. 10 years ago, the internet, honestly, probably 15, 16 years ago, when we looked at things like deep web browsing or nostalgic web browsing, it was always funny because you could see human written stuff on the internet, right? Like human beings were actually writing the HTML, posting that on the internet. Now it seems like most of the sources that you find on the internet, most articles, most even forums.
Yeah, pretty sure because they are pretty centralized, especially from a popular website like Facebook. Especially here in the Philippines, Facebook is very popular. Like nobody even heard about like what Twitter is. Nobody because I guess in Facebook's case, it's actually pretty easy for you to make an account if you just have a number and just like put that number within their website. So yeah, that's why it's pretty popular in this case. I don't use it that much. I only use like messaging stuff because my students or my fellow classmates they use that, and sometimes a lot of teachers also use that for communication and stuff.
Right? Like it's crazy. Like I stopped reading forum threads. I stopped reading things like, image boards simply because it felt like every other post was somebody using ChatGPT to make the posts. One of the things that sucks a lot, and you might actually experience this in your life, is reading emails. Emails are some of the worst offenders because it seems like everybody that uses an email service, and anytime somebody sends a professional email, it's usually almost always written with a fucking Copilot like tool.
Well, sometimes like some of the emails are also botted, like automatically generated. Because this has been happening in the past. Like there's a lot of like those advertisements, and like when you try to subscribe them and you try to unsubscribe them from your email, those are like very botted, like, yes, questionnaires and stuff comes to those type of emails.
Just feeds the AI like, these are my bullet points. The AI writes it for you, and you just
Yeah.
feel the lack of humanity in that, right? Like usually by the second sentence, you could probably identify what large language model used it. I'm at a point where if somebody sends me a professional email, right? Like if you want to get like sponsored, if you want to like collaborate, if somebody sends me a professional email and I fucking notice that AI wrote it, immediately you are on the block list, okay? Not only are you on the block list, but I probably just send
Yeah.
that email to every other person that I've worked with, and I show them, listen, this guy is not real, okay? This is a fucking clanker. And that's pretty much what it has come down to. The internet, in my opinion, as is most online communication, slopped out to a point where it just feels like every time you're just talking to an LLM for most days. And honestly, like it's because of that that I just have detached mostly from the internet. I've detached mostly from social media to the point where, like, again, it's just I talk only to like people.
It is very sad, like you're losing a lot of the, natural communication and socialization when it comes to like social media in this case. Today is like more likely than not like all just content and stuff and advertising.
That I know now in real life, okay? People like Amari, people like Kyle, people like Tyler.
Well, except, Mudahar in this case, he's still like very news oriented. He's pretty like insightful too.
People like Carson, people that I know as friends in reality. There are no online communications that I can have. Dude, it's to a point where, like, even if you
Yeah.
argue with somebody online, it's like, bro, are you arguing with a human being or are you arguing with Claude? Are you arguing with Chat GPT? There's just no point to the online stuff. Even the comment sections to this video, as any video on YouTube,
I won't be surprised if people, if they are losing an argument, they would love to use like, hey, Chat GPT, like win me this argument.
I have to always triple check if I'm actually like getting a comment from a human being or a fucking AI. And that's honestly sad. Like it actually zaps away some of the enjoyment for me on this platform. But anyways,
Yeah.
all of this stuff aside, Microsoft Windows 12 is not announced. It's not even leaked. It's not even hinted at. If anything, if you want the real factual understanding, Microsoft is planning to fix up their operating system really hard this year, okay? Like Windows 11 has faced so much consumer backlash and it's faced so much shit, rightfully so, that the only logical thing Microsoft can do is actually declutter, debloat, and fix up probably their crown jewel.
For sure that's not gonna happen because much of their money are, related when it comes to ads. So they have to keep that pushing and rolling, But they have to fix like the most common bugs, of course, and most common like errors and the stuff.
But ultimately, I don't think that's really a thing because if you look at market caps for a lot of these companies, like a lot of the top companies, Microsoft is ranked at number 4, basically sitting at $4.1 trillion as of right now, Canadian. That number would have been unbelievable like years ago. But a lot of these companies are propped up because of how much money they've put into artificial intelligence. Microsoft basically banks on Windows.
Hey, Berkshire Hathaway. I actually like invested in Berkshire Hathaway. I would love to invest in Berkshire Hathaway someday. But yeah, Berkshire. I actually love Berkshire Hathaway. It's a very cool, stable business for investing because of Warren Buffett in this case. Unfortunately, Warren Buffett already like retired, so yeah, I'm actually like expecting like more on what also.
Becoming an AI ridden piece of shit, because if it doesn't, they lose a lot of money in the process. Already this bubble is starting to burst.
I won't be surprised if all those top 10 companies like listed on the hard stuff will go down eventually, especially when there's like a bubble in this case. I'm actually like really tuned in like how the market is like going on, like trying to get some investing and stuff. So it's like pretty amazing.
To a point that people are genuinely questioning if it even has a future. I saw the other day Nvidia.
That's no future. Usually when it comes to like business, especially like from the words of Warren Buffett in this case, like when you kind of think about all of this AI and stuff, like it's usually just no value, like there's just no subscription and stuff. Like, well, they don't even have subscription or even type of like ads in this case. Like you're not giving value towards other people. I think the only value you give is like, I guess AI, paranoia in this case, but that's basically it, or some type of information. Like I think even Google is more better than this because if you just like search stuff that you like or wanted, you can immediately get the information that you wanted. But when it comes to AI, this is just like the lazy version of, I guess Google in this case because you don't even want to click on just some links or even like read on them. But I guess I guess AI in that case is still like very helpful, but I'm pretty sure some of them still give, misinformations.
Was thinking to themselves, do we keep putting billions of dollars into this pile of shit? Or do we just cut our losses and call it quits? And I think that's a reality for a lot of these companies
I'm
going
pretty sure they're still going to push it until, the camel break its back because I guess a lot of people are already like invested through this. So why not just go back? You're still going to keep on going.
forward. This is not a
Hey, Michael Berry. Like Michael Berry is actually from The Big Short. He's actually a value investor that I'm actually like very interested by him. I didn't know that
into
he is actually part of this like
this
this
pile of
article.
shit, or do losses and call it quits.
Let's actually read this. AI hype cycle hits a reality check. Can read. The sentiment contrast optimism fueled that the market here investors piled, and the artificial intelligence placed that sent valuation to new highs, Adding to the selling pressure was Michael Burry, the famed big short investor who hedge fund disclosed short bets against Palantir and Nvidia on Monday. So he is like shorting the Nvidia and Palantir. I'm pretty sure that's still not wise, but I'm pretty sure he already know that the Nvidia and Palantir are the ones who's going to go down. But I'm pretty sure it's still early today because I think it's still going to take years. We don't know. 3 years, 2 years, we still don't know.
And I think that,
But I'm pretty sure he's pretty confident that, these two companies, Palantir and Nvidia, are going to go down someday.
it's a reality for a lot of these companies going forward. This is not a sustainable model. If AI fails, and it probably will one day because the bubble has to pop or deflate, a lot of these companies like Microsoft literally have to go back and fix Windows 11 before they even conceive Windows 12. Because if you destroy your keystone product right now, simply because you wanted to chase the AI dragon, you'll...
I'm pretty sure it's actually more viable, right? Like if you just try to make the Windows 11 very shitty and make Windows 12 the best OS, I'm pretty sure people immediately transfer to, Windows 12 if that's the case, if that's a business model they're going at. So it's actually pretty possible for them to release Windows 12, shitify Windows 11.
Actually have fucking nothing down the road. And the other thing that really baffles me too about this whole situation as well is that layoffs around the country, specifically the US, have reached a pace that is actually worse than, from what I understand, the 2008 financial crisis. A lot of companies have put their eggs into this AI basket.
I think the worst of the investors gone is usually the dot-com bubble.
Reduced the amount of people working, and they've kind of realized that AI isn't exactly perfect. Some companies like IBM have actually had to start hiring people again because they're like, wait, this wasn't really the great replacing tool that we thought was going to change everything. And so that's also put pressure on companies like Microslop because they need this to be successful. That's why all these companies hate it when you're so negative about AI. Because the moment you actually bring reality up, a lot of these guys have to fucking cope and seethe at what the eventual future for this is. So there is a silver lining to all of this. It will actually come crashing down. And trust me, when it does, there will be nobody happier shitting on the street of Microsoft than this.
It's also good. Like, well, there are some pain when it comes to a down or a crash in this case because a lot of investors in this case will lose money. And not only that, unemployment is also pretty much very high. So you basically have no job overnight, especially when it comes to down stuff like that because the company needs to, I guess, pay off all of the losses that they have. So basically everybody loses in that case, especially in the business world. But it's probably good for you as a normal person because everything is cheap, so you can buy anything. And well, the only exception is like you're unemployed.
Fucking guy right here. Simple as that. Again, also when it
because everyone is firing left and right and making some layoff and all types of like companies in this case. That's gonna be a nightmare scenario.
comes to things like AI slop these days too, one of the things that also came up was apparently people falling for shit like this. YouTube will require government ID to access the comment sections, One thing that also burns me about this too is like AI has ruined, to an extent, I feel like most of the internet has just ruined people's ability to critically think. Nobody's able to
I mean, I always like check like the replies if there's like an article, because if shit is real, I always like click on it. It's like I always like read it if this is if it's very outlandish, so that I can know like if this is even like real and stuff. If there's no type of articles, I don't believe it.
click one account and simply look at their bio and say, wow, that was a parody account. Maybe YouTube's like actual like maybe YouTube's like maybe YouTube's image has gotten so bad that people just believe this shit. But again, people aren't even able to parse anything like this anymore. People aren't able to like critically think, which is actually a pretty saddening thing. Now, the other thing about like companies like Microslop is while a lot of these companies are pushing artificial intelligence and pushing bloated operating systems, I think when we're reaching a point where people are downloading tools like Winslop, yes, this is a real application people are using.
I love that. Microslop, Winslop, and Winbloat.
To debloat Microsoft's Windows operating system.
Just install Linux, man. Just install Linux. Why? Why are you still beating around the bush?
And this is one of the reasons why I don't use Windows. Like, I don't care much about it. This is why I make these videos, because every time Microsoft updates something in Windows, it breaks like 10 things. And it's because of that it serves as probably the best advertisement to Linux. I don't understand why somebody goes out of their way to de-slop Microsoft. If you're at a point where you're downloading tools to gut...
I'm pretty sure there's still like use cases when it comes to Windows. I would actually love to have like a SSD, a separate SSD when it comes to like Windows, just so I can like, I guess install some stuff, maybe use some things on Windows part, because there are some cases that some things doesn't work on Linux. But for now, it's actually like very fine. Like I can like do a lot of stuff here, but I would love to, I guess, edit more videos on Windows more efficiently, because much of the video editing tools here on Linux is like very bad.
And surgically remove parts of Windows.
Everything else is good, but the video editing is the only thing that is not good enough. Yeah, especially like Kdenlive, and I really wish for them to like improve that, man. Especially like the shortcuts.
Maybe you should consider using a different operating system, right? Like maybe at that point you should just use the alternative that's available. I think the future, given all the laws and regulations that we've seen, is going to pressure Microsoft into doing things that they probably didn't even want to do that'll actually make Windows worse, like age verification laws and online only bullshit being pushed further and further. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, it's just hilarious to me to see. I had to actually unironically defend it. No, Windows 12 is not a thing. It's not a thing for now. But I think
But I'm pretty sure they're already developing it, right?
AI slop that we read does have some kernels of truth worth focusing on,
okay.
Right? Microsoft is such an AI-reliant company that whatever they release in the future will be reliant on that stuff. And ultimately, it's up to you if you want to ditch it or you want to stick onto it. There's a lot of people that are complaining about Windows 11, and I can't imagine those claims will be alleviated, because I think whatever the fuck 12 will be, when Microsoft reveals it, will be worse than whatever 11 is, especially...
I wonder it will be their final stuff, because a lot of people don't like Windows at all.
In the field of AI and the constant enshittification of their platform. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar.
I would actually love to try a little bit of, Windows 12 on how bad it is when it comes to people. Like I always love to test around the waters in this case.
And yeah, hopefully you like what you saw. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Right. Actually, like very fan of that, fans. Like, I guess there's no Windows 12 for now, I guess in this case. But yeah, very excited about it. If there will going to be like a Windows 12, like, and probably the AI on that shit is gonna be worse, and the UI and stuff is gonna be very slow and stuff. Like even the updates is gonna be slow, because the AI is collecting data and they need to upload that data. Pretty sure that's already happening right when it comes to Windows 11. But yeah, I'm pretty interested about that. And friends, like, do you have to even have Windows 12? Do you prefer Windows 11 or Windows 12 for now? That is the case. Or would you rather use the Windows version of Linux, also known as Azure Linux? I think that's called Azure Linux. So yeah, Never actually heard about Azure Linux actually. But yeah, friends, thank you for watching, and I'm very enjoyed that video from Mudahar, and yeah, I would like to hear all your insights, and good afternoon, friends.